The Melding Plague actually happened, and its effects were far worse than you are currently capable of imagining. At the time of the plague's manifestation, our society was supersaturated by trillions of tiny machines. They were our unthinking, uncomplaining servants, givers of life and shapers of matter, and yet we barely gave them a moment's thought. They swarmed tirelessly through our blood. They toiled ceaselessly in our cells. They clotted our brains, linking us all into Demarchi's web of near-instantaneous decision-making. We moved through virtual environments woven by direct manipulation of the brain's sensory mechanisms, or scanned and uploaded our minds into lightning-fast computer systems. We forged and sculpted matter on the scale of mountains, wrote symphonies out of matter, caused it to dance to our whims like tamed fire. Only the conjoiners had taken a step closer to Godhead. And some said we were not far behind them. Machines grew our orbiting city-states from raw rock and ice, and then bootstrapped inert matter towards life within their biomes. Thinking machines ran those city-states, shepherding the 10,000 habitats of the Glitterband as they processed around Yellowstone. Machines made Chasm City what it was, shaping its amorphous architecture towards a fabulous and phantasmagoric beauty. All that is gone. It was worse than you are thinking. If the plague had only killed our machines, millions would still have died, but that would have been a manageable catastrophe, something from which we could have recovered. But the plague went beyond mere destruction, into a realm much closer to artistry, albeit an artistry of a uniquely perverted and sadistic kind. It caused our machines to evolve uncontrollably, out of our control at least, seeking bizarre new symbioses. Our buildings turned into Gothic nightmares, trapping us before we could escape their lethal transfigurations. The machines in our cells, in our blood, in our heads, began to break their shackles, blurring into us, corrupting living matter. We became glistening larval fusions of flesh and machine. When we buried the dead, they kept growing, spreading together, fusing with the city's architecture. It was a time of horror. It is not yet over. And yet, like any truly efficient plague, our parasite was careful not to kill its host population entirely. Tens of millions died, but tens of millions more reached some kind of sanctuary, hiding within hermetically sealed enclaves in the city or orbit. Their medicines were given emergency destruct orders, converting themselves to dust, which was flushed harmlessly out of the body. Surgeons worked furiously to tear implants from heads before traces of the plague reached them. Other citizens, too strongly wedded to their machines to give them up, sought a kind of escape in reefer sleep. They elected to be buried in sealed community cryocrypts, or to leave the system entirely. Meanwhile, tens of millions more poured into Chasm City from orbit, fleeing the destruction of the Glitterband. Some of those people had been amongst the wealthiest in the system, yet now they were as poor as any historical refugees. What they found in Chasm City could hardly have comforted them.